Hi guys, I'm Anita and I'm back with another video. And today I'm super excited because yesterday the shortlist for the BooktubeSFF Awards was just announced. This video will not be up until much later because I've already scheduled and filmed some things that will be up over the next week. But I'm excited about this. I'm going to be talking about the shortlisted books and my TBR for the BooktubeSFF that I have to read. Because obviously there's going to be a lot of reading for me, and I thought I wanted to share with you my excitement and which books I'm going to definitely be reading and which I'm probably not going to be reading. And yeah, one of the things that was exciting about this year's BooktubeSFF Awards is that they split science fiction and fantasy, adult science fiction and fantasy, to two groups, because earlier years it's been mostly focused on fantasy books, and there's also a lot of new sci-fi books that doesn't get enough attention. So the fact that they split it means that there are a lot of more science fiction books to check out, and that is worth checking out as well, that I'm super excited about. And then they added a category called Best Debut of the Year, and I think that is going to be so exciting. The rest of the categories are the same as usual, but there was also the new rule that you couldn't nominate a book that was more over book 3 in a series, so you didn't have to read like a whole lot of books to get there, so that you were actually able to read the books. So book 3 in a series is the maximum that it could be. So yeah, let's get into the different categories and what is nominated in the shortlist for that. And I'll afterwards tell you which books from that category I have plans on reading. The first category I'm going to talk about is the Best Science Fiction category. And in that category, one of the books that were nominated is Raven Stratagem by Yoon-Ha Lee, the sequel to Nine Fox Gambit. I read Nine Fox Gambit last year and I did not really like it. Probably because I didn't understand what was going on. So I had not a big interest in reading this one. I probably will skip it. I need to be a little more of an avid science fiction reader before I can get and understand that fully. The next book that is nominated in this category is Born by Jeff Vandermeer. This is a book that I'm super excited about seeing here. I know that Thomas from SFF 180 read this last year and gave it 5 stars. He doesn't give a lot of 5 stars. So I'm super excited to read that one. And I can get that from the library, so I don't have to go and buy it. So that is exciting, and I'll definitely be reading that. The next book that is also on this list is The Collapsing Empire by John Scalzi. This is the first book in a series that he released last year, and it's a sort of space opera sort of book. I am a little unsure if it's in relation to the Old Man Wars universe, but I don't think it is. But I will definitely want to get into that series, and I want to. This is one of the books that I have to buy to get to read it, because it's not on it's not in the library and it's not available at Storytel. So I probably will end up buying that book. And the final book that's also nominated in the Best Science Fiction is Waking Gods by Sylvain Neuvel, and for that I also need to read the first book because I haven't started this series yet, but that is called Sleeping Giant, and I'm definitely also intrigued to read that one. And now on to the next category, which is Best Fantasy. The first book that is nominated in that category is The Stone Sky by N.K. Jemisin. This I'm really excited about, but I was not surprised to see it on the nominees list. I also probably think that this is the one that will end up winning the whole thing, but that's another story. I haven't read the others, so I can't tell you for sure. I loved it. I loved this one and gave it 5 out of 5 stars, so I'm really happy to see that on this list, and I voted for it myself, so yeah. But I'm not gonna read that, even though I would like to reread the whole series. I don't think I will have time to read it over the BooktubeSFF. Maybe I'll read it in June after the read-alongs are over, and I can read this and maybe have them finished by the time we get to the award show. I don't know when in June that will be, but excited to see this on the list. The next book that is nominated in the Best Fantasy category is The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden, which I have heard really amazing things about, and I'm really excited to read this one. I can get this from both Storytel and from the library, so I am set on this one. And the next one I also have on the list is Red Sister by Mark Lawrence. I only read one book by Mark Lawrence before, but I really enjoy that, so I know that I like his writing style, so I'm pretty excited to get into Red Sister. The last and final book that is nominated in this category is A Conjuring of Light by V.E. Schwab, the third and final book in the Shades of Magic trilogy, and I'm not gonna read that one. First of all, I actually have it wrapped up on my shelf, and I know I won't be doing an unwrapping before the BooktubeSFF Awards get started, so I'm not gonna get to that. And I don't have any intention. I'm not super excited about it. I really hated book 2, so it'll only be when I eventually unwrap that book I might check out and read the first couple of chapters to see if it's something I'll read and end up finishing, but that's another story. I'm not surprised to see this on the list either, but I really did not like A Gathering of Shadows, so it's not a book that I'll be reading. The next category that is on here is Best Debut Novel of the Year, and for that we have, the first nominee is The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden, so this is also nominated in the Best Fantasy, and yeah. So I'm obviously going to be tagging that off as read. And the next one I'm super excited to see, and that is Kings of the Wild by Nicholas Eames. I first heard about this book from Michael from Bitten by a Radioactive Book back in, was it April or May? And I was so excited. I really wanted to get the book like immediately because of the way that he was talking about it, but I never got around to find, to get it at the time because I had bought so many other books and I had to sort of on a book by ban, and then I sort of forgot about it, but I recently remembered, like back in December, I really want that book. So now that I see it on there, I'm super excited that it's nominated, and I have a reason to buy this book now, so I'm definitely gonna do that. And I'm excited. It's just very, I heard it's very good fantasy, so excited. And the final book that's also nominated in the Best Debut Novel is City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. I probably did pronounce that name wrong, but this is a book that I was trying to fit into my TBR in February, but I just couldn't do that, so I'm excited to see it on this list so that I can actually read it, and I will be listening to the audio. They have the audio at Storytel, and I'm excited about that. The next category is Best YA of the Year, and for that the first book that is nominated in that category is Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. Now, I have only read one book by Laini Taylor, and that is Daughter of Smoke and Bone. I was not the biggest fan of that book, but I'm definitely willing to give Strange the Dreamer a try, because I can get the audio at the library, so I will try and get a hold of that. The second book that is nominated in the Best YA is Wind Witch by Susan Dennard, and I actually have Wind Witch on my TBR shelf, but it's wrapped, so I don't know, and I don't know when I'll get it, so I'll read it eventually, but I can't read it for the BooktubeSFF Awards. And the final book that is nominated in Best YA is Our Dark Duet by V.E. Schwab. Once again, she has 2 nominations on this on the shortlists, but that's how it goes sometimes. I liked this Savage song, I liked the perspective of August, so I'm sort of interested in seeing how this book ends, and I can get the audio of Storytel, so I may end up listening to that one, and we'll see. The next category is Best Middle Grade, and in that the first book that is nominated is Witchwood by Tahara Mafi. Now, I wasn't the biggest fan of the first book in that duology, what was that called again? But that was also nominated in last year's BooktubeSFF, but I think I will end up reading this. I can get it from the library, so I may end up reading that one when it comes down to it. And then another book that was also nominated was Magnus Chase and the Ship of the Dead by Rick Riordan. Now, that is the only book in this series that I have not yet read, so I'm interested in... I have really enjoyed Rick Riordan. I have 2 of his series on my shelves, and I liked Magnus Chase when I read the first 2 books, but I've heard little mixed things about the last book. But I will probably end up listening to the audio and finish the series, because it was like would be nice to tick that off as a read series as well. The next book that is on this list is Nevermore: The Trials of Morrigan Morgan Crow by Jessica Townsend, and I've not heard about this one before, but I can listen to that on my Storytel, so I'm excited to get to that and be listening to the audio of that. The last and final book that is nominated in the best middle grade is The Dreadful Tale of the Prosper Redding by Alexandra Bracken, and that one is a book that I'll need to buy if I decide to read it. We'll see. It is one, I don't have to get that many books, so I might end up buying this one for that. We'll see. The next category is Best Graphic Work, and the first one that's nominated is Monsters Volume 2. I'm not surprised to see that on here. I read Monsters Volume 1 for BooktubeSFF Awards last year, and a lot of people really enjoyed it. I think the art style is beautiful, but I wasn't super into the storyline. But I will be getting I will be getting Volume 2 to see what will happen, because I did like where it was heading, and I really enjoyed the art style, so I'll get that one. I'm pretty sure of that. The next one that's nominated, I'm not sure how to pronounce the title, but I'll try. Everyone's an Alien When You're an Alien Too by Jomi Soon, and I don't know what that's about at all, but I'll get that because it's the first volume in a series. Or I don't know if it's a series actually, or if it's just like a standalone, but I like that as well. The next one that is also nominated is My Favorite Thing is Monsters by Emil Ferris. Yeah, and the fourth and final book that's nominated in the Best Graphic Work is Paper Girls Volume 3 by Brian K. Vaughan, Cliff Chiang and Matthew Wilson. I love the saga universe a lot, but I'm not here to get, because if I have to start Paper Girls, I'll need to get both Volume 1 and 2, and I feel like graphic novels are really, really expensive. I can't get any of the graphic novels from my library, so I will only be getting the other 3, and hopefully I'll enjoy one of those and vote for that. And the last and final category in the BooktubeSFF Awards Shortlist is the Best Short Work. The first book that was nominated in that category is Down Among the Sticks and Bones by Shauna Maguire, which I'm excited to see. I really loved this book a lot when I read it. It is definitely on my top 5 list of books that I read last year. So I really enjoyed that. So I'm happy to see that, but I won't need to read this one obviously because I've already read it. So the next one that is also nominated in the category is All Systems Red by Martha Wells, and I'm excited about this one. I heard really great things from Rachel and from, I think also Thomas from SFF 180 has been talking a lot about this one and how they enjoyed it. So I'm excited. And the last and final one that's nominated in the short work category is Binti Home by Nydia Okorafor. So for that one I'll need to read Binti, the first book in that series as well. So I saw that I can get all 3 books in that trilogy for $12 on Amazon, so I'm probably gonna go and get that, so I have all 3 books in one purchase. And I'm excited because I've heard really, really great things about this series in particular, but also Nydia Okorafor as an author from Rachel from Kalanadi. So overall, I'm really excited about the majority of the books from this list, and I obviously have a really long TBR list to get started with, but good thing that they have read-alongs both in March, April and May, and I will be able to sort of plan my reading for that. Definitely let me know in the comments down below if you're going to be participating in the BooktubeSFF read-alongs, because I am, and I'm really excited about it. And let me know if you're excited about any of the books that are on this list and which ones you think you might win the different categories. Yeah, if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video very, very soon. Goodbye!